Howdy, partner. We're just going to keep that going, episode to episode. Maybe. This is Hunter, co host here with my buddy Nick. Episode numero uno.
Here we go. The first official one.
Yep. No more pilot. We got signed on. We got approved, and they greenlit the show.
Yeah,
So
we're
here
doing
we
it.
are.
It's happening.
We're we're answering a question today about the formation of the theme park guys. You're listening to the theme park guys, by the way. This is the first time I'm introducing the episode, so we're we're practicing. We're practicing. Just kidding. But what is a theme park? We're going to be talking about that. Theme park, amusement park, water park, sideshow attraction, the little carnivals at the mall. We're going to be talking about what constitutes a theme park later on. But first, Nick, what did you do today? Do you want me to
I love it.
start?
I
I
love it because
repaired.
you feel like so awkward right now because you're like introing and hosting it, and I like to watch you squirm.
I don't
Um,
know. I also so used to audio only that I end up smiling too much and I feel like I turn red. And then I did like watch the other episode and I'm like sitting in here, I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
pacing
well,
back and forth.
we're doing great, we're doing great. But I need to understand
It's
that
different. It's different being on camera for sure.
you're on candid camera. Yeah,
They're watching. Yeah.
on candid
Anyways,
camera.
today I
Everything gets
worked.
picked on.
Yeah. Today
Me
I
too.
worked. Not the most exciting day, but yeah, I mean it's been a good week. It's been exciting. It's been a fun week. We launched our podcast this week, which is
We
pretty
did.
awesome.
I feel like I've been
First,
that's kind of been consuming the week.
yeah, first pilot episode dropped on Wednesday, and you guys listened to it, and you have given us so much love and support. So we're super thankful for that. Thank you guys so much for watching on YouTube. Thank you for downloading wherever you listen to your podcast. So that's been super helpful and just
Mm-hmm.
exciting. I feel so blessed knowing that like there's a community that started listening to that tracks and also that have been fans of the happiest podcast on earth, and they have like come together to support us, and some of them were listening to both, but they've come together to support us with this project and this endeavor, and I'm super grateful. I'm super thankful. So if you were here and you were listening before to one of those podcasts, thanks for being here.
I'm envisioning this like like a Nickelodeon or Disney Channel show or whatever. It's like where it's like it's a main episode, main characters, but then like the side characters are like, we're gonna do our own spinoff. And it's like here we are. I can't think of an example, but I know that's happened in multiple, like where the side character all of a sudden has their own show they get
They
signed
have
on
their own
for.
show, like Corey in the
Yeah,
House with
Corey in the House. That's
yeah,
yeah,
there's the throwback.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so anyways,
It's
um,
Corey in the House. It's what it
no,
is.
we're not in the White House though.
Oh, that's
Anyways,
true.
we are. Yeah, so it's been a good week. It's been great. Obviously, like busy, getting this podcast launched and off the ground. Also, a little bit of a sad week just with that track's ending for sure. I feel like I had a little bit of whiplash this week with one ending and then immediately launching the next one. Like, it made sense, obviously, to do that because I want to continue immediately in the podcast space. But it was like everything happened all at once. So, like, processing was like, you know, it was different for sure.
Yeah.
But it's been good. It's been exciting, and I'm super grateful and super thankful. Um, I still have a little bit of a cough that will not go away, so bear with me on that. But um, also, just in terms of like what the fam's been up to. So last weekend for work, I went to Mardi Gras at Universal. That started on February 1st. Um, it's a whole season at Universal, which is pretty fun. Like Universal Studios Florida. So you've got obviously Universal Studios, and then you've got Islands of Adventure. But the Universal Studios park is where Mardi Gras is celebrated, and it basically takes over the entire park. They've got food booths from different countries all around the park. They've got entertainment all over the place. Even the characters that do their like typical meet and greets are wearing like Mardi Gras outfits. So it's pretty fun how it like truly takes over. It almost feels like a festival that you'd have at Epcot.
Yeah, we
Um,
thinking. That's what I was about to say. We thinking like food and wine, and then
yeah,
Universal has Mardi Gras, pretty much.
yeah. So yeah, yes, for sure. Even though obviously Epcot has like so many festivals as well. But it's fun. It's such a good time. And I had a blast. I went there for work, got to try a lot of good food, loved the burger from Colombia. This is for people, if you guys end up going to Universal, these are some of my, like, you should try it. The baked Cajun mac and cheese from the New Orleans booth was very tasty, but also pretty spicy. And then I had apparently, I didn't have this, but apparently there's a beer that used to be in Germany at Epcot that is now at the Germany booth at the
The grapefruit Radler?
No, it's like a darker beer. I don't know what kind it is.
Okay.
But I did have a beer from Germany, and it was very tasty. It was very smooth. So, yeah, there's a lot of good food, a lot of good drinks, and the tribute store looks really cool. It's kind of scary. It's not like total HHN vibes, but it looks like what an HHN house would look like if you walked through it. There's obviously just no like scare actors inside of it. But do you know what the tribute store is, Hunter?
I've heard stories.
Okay. never seen
I've never set foot inside of it. I've never had the pleasure, but I've seen it. Like, hasn't it been like Jurassic Park themed and like
so
all kinds of crazy stuff?
It changes with the different seasons, and lately it's been changing locations. There's like 2 different locations that it's been going to. It's either in New York at Universal Studios or in Hollywood at Universal Studios, Florida.
So can you actually buy things in the store, or
it's
is
a
like
real
everything that's out like just for decoration? Like do you have to think when you're in the store of like, am I allowed to buy this? Can I pick it up and go buy it, or it's pretty obvious?
It's very clear. Yeah, there's like display shelves and stuff, and then it's clear like what the props are. I can see how that would be confusing.
From the videos I've seen, I'm like, okay, everything's props, and then there's some things you can buy. It's like, what if I grab this, 7-foot tall Velociraptor and take it to the cash register?
Yeah,
Will they let me?
not.
Will they let me buy it?
No, it doesn't have a price tag on it.
Okay.
But this year it's like it's in the bayou, and it's very like spooky. It's creepy. But inside of the store there are there's a couple of disses to Disney. Like I don't know if you've seen this or not, but
they got beef.
Well, Universal does this. They like throw shade at Disney on a regular basis on
Universal's getting a little big for their britches with Epic Universe, which rightfully they probably should, but I think they're going to take advantage of that situation.
I don't know. I don't think so though. Like this has just been the move by like Universal long before I think even before Epic Universe, but they have a little display of like different monsters on a wall, and they're like little windows, very small windows that you can walk up to and look inside of, and there's like a monster inside of it. One of the monsters is the Yeti. It's a Yeti inside of the window display, and inside of like if you get close enough to the Yeti and then you sort of like looked to the left, they have a sticky note, like a post-it note inside of that little display, and I'm going to show it on camera. I know that if you're listening to this, that doesn't help you, but for those that are watching on YouTube, I don't know if you can really see what it even says, but there's a little post-it note inside of that little box. It looks like a shadow box.
We should do a pop-up in our video. And like edit that in.
Yeah, we'll
Here
see.
it is.
Maybe we can make that happen. If not, it says animate Yeti, and then that box is checked, and then underneath that it says call Joe about parts, and then that box is unchecked. So basically they're throwing like shade towards Disney for the Yeti not working in Everest, and the box that is unchecked, obviously Joe being Joe Rohde. So it's just really funny. Like that's one of the things that they have inside of there, but they have like a postcard that says like moving Yeti or something like that on it as well in the store. So it's
So
cool.
are they saying
fun.
it's Joe's fault? Is that what they're trying to say?
Yeah. No,
He's the one that said he's going to be the savior, but
it's whoever didn't call Joe about the parts, I guess. That's
okay.
that person's fault. Yeah. So
we'll never know.
I don't know. It's
Maybe
fun.
we'll have
It's
him
fun.
on the podcast one day. So
That'd be cool.
what happened?
Disney legend.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I broke the Yeti.
Yeah, it's cool. that they go all out for Mardi Gras, and I'm particularly excited because this will have already happened by the time that this episode drops. So you guys will probably see content from this on my Instagram. But we are taking the boys tomorrow night to go get on one of the floats during the parade. And throw beads, which the boys are going to think is like the coolest thing ever. So
How do you get to do that?
Annual
Oh,
pass
I guess.
holders can like make reservations for it, but then there's other opportunities as well. You can do ride and dine, which is like a dining package, almost like you would at Epcot for Festival of the Arts, where you like buy a dining package and then you get like front row seats to like the concert that night. This is where you would buy a dining package, get to eat dinner somewhere in City Walk or at Universal Studios, and then you have like a reservation to be able to go get on one of the floats to throw the beads. And then there's a virtual queue that opens up at 2 p.m. To try to get onto the floats. It's very limited like availability, and Universal's virtual queue system, it's a lot different than Disney's. And honestly, when I say different, it's not always the best. Like it gets very, very complicated sometimes. And so, I would recommend doing the ride and dine so that you have a guaranteed spot. At this point, for annual pass holders, all the reservations are booked through the Mardi Gras season. But yeah, so there's some tidbits on Mardi Gras for you. And then we're being hosted at one of the resorts at Sapphire Falls. So I'm very excited about that. We've never stayed there before. So hopefully going to get some fun pool time and time with the fam this weekend. I have a busy weekend ahead of me because then we'll be at Universal most of the day Saturday.
You had a busy weekend.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't happened yet for me.
As we're getting our episode recorded early this week.
But then on Sunday morning, I'll be at Mardi Gras at Busch Gardens. They're doing a media event this weekend for their Mardi Gras, and so I'll just be full of all of the Mardi Gras this weekend for sure. And then Sunday night's the Super Bowl. So busy weekend ahead of me for sure. We've got some friends coming over for the Super Bowl, and I'll be cooking up a storm. So it's going to be a whirlwind, and then
Can't say I'll be watching the Super Bowl.
Are you not going to?
Why should I? As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, send all the hate you want, but we had a time, and that time is no longer now. But I am just tired of the Chiefs, to be honest.
Me too. As a Bucks fan, and for all of our Chiefs fans and Eagles fans that are watching or listening to this, sorry, but as a Bucks fan, the Eagles and the Bucks have beef in the past, and so I have a hard time cheering for them. And the Chiefs, I'm done. I'm over the Chiefs. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Obviously, love me some Taylor Swift, and I'm always cheering for a happy Taylor. But in this scenario, I don't want the Chiefs to win. So, and I'm really not even that interested in the halftime show either. I don't know a lot of Kendrick Lamar's music. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll
I'm
see.
hoping for some good commercials.
Yeah, we might go over to the parents' house and just have it on. I'm not going to be planning in front of it, though. But, yeah, I am not going to Mardi Gras events at all this week. Texas doesn't really have anything really going on. I am closer to New Orleans, so I was
going to say, does anybody in in Texas celebrate Mardi Gras? Do any of the towns, maybe closer to the
people go to New Orleans. Line? If you're this close, you're going to New Orleans, probably. Okay. I would assume. Yeah. Maybe East Texas, maybe Houston, but not That's
Dallas, what I wondered. Because, New Orleans is not where Mardi Gras originated.
Yeah, where was it?
Mobile, Alabama.
Oh.
That's where they, first started celebrating it here in the States. So,
okay.
I would imagine there's probably some towns in Texas, along the coast.
They might have a few little celebrations, but I've never celebrated Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
I don't think ever.
I had never celebrated it until Francie and I started dating. Not so much while we were dating in college, but more so when we got married and were engaged. Her family, she has family that's from New Orleans, and so it, got to understand and learn the culture, which was pretty cool. Got to understand what a king cake means, what you do with a king cake. There's a baby that hides inside of it, a little toy baby. Never heard of it.
Okay. A baby.
No, not a real baby.
Buddy, I'm like I said, my role, and I know we said this kind of in the pilot, like I'm supposed to be the clueless one. Like I am fulfilling that role right now. I am clueless.
Well, it's good.
You're talking about babies and cakes, and I'm like, Mardi Gras is kind of a weird deal. But that's okay.
But that's what
I'll
happens.
learn.
They hide a little toy baby inside of the king cake, and whoever ends up with the toy baby, it's like there's different ways that people celebrate it. Some people say that that person has like luck or what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's going to be like a prosperous year for them if they found
Is it like
if they had.
big enough where they won't choke on it, or like
Yeah, it should be. Sometimes
it's not like
so much.
that? Like that would
Some
be
of them are
that'd be a
small,
way
like
to go.
not
Start your
super
prosperous
tiny,
year
but-
in the ER,
choking.
choking on a plastic baby.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I wonder if the ERs like in New Orleans or Mobile like see a lot of that during this season. But
We'll have to look at the stats,
yeah,
see
interesting.
what we're dealing with. But
Yeah, scary.
Yeah.
But and then other people say that that person will host the Mardi Gras party the next year, like if they got the baby. So
Oh,
it's cool.
okay.
It's pretty fun. But in Universal, the king cake just has a baby on top of it. So, but there is
Okay.
a float this year that has. It's very interesting. It has a baby.
So there's a
like-
whole parade, like there's whole parade floats specifically
Oh.
for Mardi Gras
yeah,
at
yeah, and they're
Universal.
huge.
It's not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And like it's like hundreds of people that get on these floats that throw beads, and they're all guests. It's honestly one of the coolest theme park experiences. Like, when do you get to go to a theme park and be able to participate in the parade to that capacity where you're the one who's out throwing beads? And I got a lot of beads like at the parade this last year. Again, I'm going to show a quick little video for people listening. I'm sorry, but if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, just look up like the baby inside of the king cake at the parade this year. But it's pretty cool. It's like riding at the front of the float,
Oh.
and there's like fire that shoots up from behind it. It's pretty.
Hold on. Are they using like a Silverado 1500 in the middle of the Universal to pull a parade float?
Some of the floats are pulled by.
What in the world is that?
It's very
we-
so the floats actually. Some of them are from some of the people who designed the floats for the parades in New Orleans. So like
Oh.
they're like very legit Mardi Gras floats.
Just on
but they're not.
gooseneck trailers?
Yeah, they're not like some of them are not
wild.
like piloting themselves. I will say though that Universal does parades so well. Like
Really?
their holiday parade is absolutely
I've seen Squidward
incredible.
do
Yeah,
the
okay.
dab. Yeah. Yeah.
They did the Mega Movie Parade this past summer. They released it, and they had one of the coolest floats that I've ever seen. It was a giant T-Rex, and he came from, I think, Japan. But yeah, and I mean, like, you get a ton of beads. It's a great time. If you've never gone to Mardi Gras during or to Universal during Mardi Gras season, I highly recommend it. I'm also excited to do Mardi Gras at Busch Gardens. It's not as like large as Universal's celebration, but it'll be a fun time. And then
But does Universal for their parades have a Tally the Elf?
no,
One of the greatest
I have not seen a
parade
viral
characters ever.
phenomenon. No, yeah, no, haven't
Conjured
seen that
up?
yet. There are lots of great characters in the parade for sure, but none, no elves. Not in this one at least.
Nobody,
There are
not
elves
in
in
Mardi
the
Gras,
holiday parade.
obviously,
Yeah.
but yes. I'm just thinking an equivalence of,
Yeah.
just someone who goes. Did he go like off the cuff? Like he just said maybe just one day he was in the parks and doing the parade
No.
route. And he's just like, I'm gonna just go for it, and he just boom.
I don't know. I think
Or
it
was that
just-
always his role?
I think it was always his role. I think it was the power of TikTok and social media. I think like one TikTok blew up, and then like that's what happens.
It was
For
Jessica.
those of you who don't know what we're
Jessica.
talking about, if you haven't seen this and you're watching or listening to this, like you probably have already seen it or heard about it.
We all know Tally the Elf.
Yeah, but he's one of the elves that is in the Christmas parade for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and he has like a list and will tell you like whether you're on the naughty or nice list, and it's cool because like there's actual names on that list. So
The only
yeah.
elf I've ever seen with a southern charm.
hey, elves come
It's
from all
gold.
over the place.
It's TikTok gold.
Yeah, But Joe Jonas is going to be in concert this weekend on Saturday night at Mardi Gras. That's another cool thing. They have
At
concerts a lot.
Universal or
Yeah,
Busch Gardens?
yeah. No, Universal.
Okay.
Um, the, yeah.
Didn't know if he was a big Busch Gardens fan.
I
I don't
love
know.
Busch Gardens very much, but I just can't picture Joe Jonas.
So are you
headlining
saying
there.
Busch Gardens might be an amusement park over a
No,
theme
we'll
park?
get into that. We'll get into
Okay.
that. I was
All right.
thinking
Just
about that as we were looking at our notes for today, but
yeah.
no, spoiler alert, I think Busch Gardens is a theme park. But anyways, um, yeah, he's going to be in concert. That's one other cool thing. I know I'm rambling about Mardi Gras, but if you go to Mardi Gras,
I'm just absorbing. I don't know a lot about this.
well, if you go to Mardi Gras at Universal, like they have concerts some of the nights, and you have to look at their website for the listing. But like last weekend was T-Pain, and it was sick. Like he played all these songs from like high school and college that I like listened to all the time. So that was super fun to be able to hear. It was packed. There were so many people there. This weekend is Joe Jonas, and you're like that concert is included with your admission to the park. So it's not like you're paying extra to go to this concert or anything like that. And all of that festival celebration or Mardi Gras celebration is part of your admission to the park as well. So it's really like pretty cool opportunity. So
Yeah.
anyways.
Well, I fixed my son's power wheels. He hit a fence and snapped a bolt off, so I fixed that today, and I built a
This
swing
is like the new
that he
one?
got for his birthday. Yeah, it's the third time he's broken it already. He's had it for a week.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right. I'm handy, so I can
Well,
I can
and
fix it.
he's your
It's
child.
faster. Yeah, it's faster than the old one, and it has a larger turning radius. I'm talking about like the Kid Trax things, little battery powered. It's the Can-Am like Maverick. It's steering wheel, seat belts, all that kind of stuff. But he used to have like a little Ford Bronco one, but he destroyed that one. He's had it for like 2 years. Absolutely demolished. There's barely any pieces left on it, but it still runs. I've replaced the battery once, the pedal once, and the gear shift 3 times on that one. So we decided it was time to upgrade. He ran it straight into the fence 4 times as soon as he got on it after his birthday.
You
and
need to
broke it.
drive. You need to drive here one day, and then bring like a vehicle that you can transport one of these cars, because we have one that we don't use anymore. I can't. Maybe Zoe would use it, but it's
Is it like for the road or like
No, it's
off
the
road?
land speeder. It's probably more for the road, but it's
You
the
need
land
to sell that
speeder
thing on eBay.
from A New Hope. You need to.
Yeah.
You need because didn't Bash just watched A New Hope for the first time?
Yeah,
on his
but
birthday?
I don't know.
Oh,
We don't
he
have a
would
lot
get-
of road frontage. He's an off-roader. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not a road.
It could
kinda guy.
potentially work off road. Some probably not. Like
I can't believe you have that, because that's like a collector's item now. I've looked them up. You can't buy them anymore.
No, because
and-
they were at Toys R Us. We bought it for Luke when Toys R Us was closing, and we got it like super cheap. I think it was like 80% off when we bought it for him.
Wow.
And it was cool. It was his second birthday, and not that he was able to.
Hold
really
on.
drive it.
Second birthday, so this is old. I thought it was a new thing. I guess I just saw it recently.
No, we had it. I mean, 6 years ago, 7 years
Dang.
ago.
Yeah, I thought they just came out with it a couple of years ago. But
No.
Alright.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. But the way we gave it to him was his second birthday was Star Wars themed, and there is a group of people here in Central Florida. They're like and maybe they're all over the place actually, but they're called like the 501st.
they're everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
They travel. They have different like I don't know what you call them. I do not know the verbiage. It's the 501st Legion
Yeah.
or something. I don't know if that's
I think
the
it's a
exact
Legion,
number.
yeah.
But they have chapters like
Yeah, yeah.
in all different states and cities.
These
and
are
stuff
like
that.
huge Star Wars fans, but what they
Yeah.
do is they all have like stormtrooper armor that they can wear, but not
And
even just stormtroopers.
There's regulations. Like they have tiers, and they have to like be approved and go
Right.
through and like have their deals checked to make sure they're in conformance. I did look into this once because I did have a phase where I really wanted to get some stormtrooper armor, and I was trying to look. And that stuff gets expensive, but
Yeah.
you have to
Well,
have the right dimensions on your cufflinks and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're serious.
Yeah. Well, we had for Luke's birthday, my brother knew someone from that, like one of the divisions here, like locally, and he put him in contact with me, and because we were doing a Star Wars theme party, and the guy, I was like, is there any way that you can like come like dressed as a stormtrooper to help like deliver my son's like land speeder to him? And they were like, oh, we can put like a group of people together for that. And so like we had like three stormtroopers, a Jawa, and like all I had to do was make like I made a donation to the division, to the chapter.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they came and then they walked out with the land speeder, and Luke's cousin was like driving it into the area where we were doing the party, and Luke got so nervous. He was like, why are there actual stormtroopers at my birthday party right now? It was really funny, but he warmed up to them eventually, and it was just, I kind of felt bad for them because I was like, it's a 2-year-old's birthday party. Like they were just like awkwardly standing there like taking pictures with people, and then I looked at him at one point and I was like, you guys can be done. Like you don't have to stand here anymore. But it was cool. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, Luke, he doesn't remember it, but I have a lot of fun pictures of him with it.
Yeah.
So.
No, and I know you said you mentioned Bash watching New Hope. Yeah, that was this past week. He turned 4, and I'm like, am I a bad parent if we watch A New Hope? And I'm like, no, I think we can handle it, because he watched the first 8 minutes of Revenge of the Sith because of the space battle. I turned it off before Count Dooku got beheaded. Let's all calm down for a second. But he had like a book.
Which
he
they
got
don't show that really anyway.
They show his mug roll onto the ground. I mean, I'm just saying, and his hands too. It was a great move by Anakin, swift and smooth. So the week before, 2 weeks ago, he got a book from the library. It was like, the Star Wars encyclopedias and stuff. I always got them from the library when I was a kid. Did we talk about the library last time? We did.
We did.
Talked about DVDs.
Big library guy.
Hey, homeschooler. I'm
I
gonna bring up the
bought-
library at least one time in every episode.
I think I bought Bash a Star Wars book. I think.
Really? Yeah, you did. It was the Star Wars, like the father book, where it's
Yeah,
Luke and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Which he probably thinks of that book differently now that he's seen Darth Vader in action, and also spoiled it for him. But regardless, he pointed in his book and he was like, "Hey, what's this droid?" And I'm like, that's a buzz droid, son, part of the Trade Federation. You got to watch out; they're not very nice. He's like, "Oh wow, yeah, this is pretty good." And he was kind of infatuated by the buzz droids. And I'm like, "You want to see him like on a show?" He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I put on the first 8 minutes of Revenge of the Sith. Buzz droids attacked Obi-Wan. He watched him. He was amazed. His jaw was open the entire time. He's never seen anything like that. So that's where he kept asking to watch more Star Wars. So I was like, okay, well, do we want to go Phantom Menace? Do we want to go... Because Phantom Menace is kind of playful. Attack of the Clones, a little too serious. Revenge of the Sith, way too serious. Empire, I don't know yet. So I was like, A New Hope will kind of settle in there. We had to deal with the cantina scene, got his arm cut off, but as long as you talk about it after, it's okay.
Verbally process.
Yeah. And I think I've come to the conclusion that I'll show him 4, 5, and 6 like progressively as he gets older, and then once I know he's old enough for Revenge of the Sith to really hit him and be something that sticks with them, like maybe 7, maybe Luke's age, then we'll go 1, 2, and 3, and I just want him to be in like 4, 5, and 6, and I'll just mirror it like well, not from the 70s to 2000, that's 30 years, but I'm gonna give him that space just so he can appreciate it a little bit more.
Well, and I think too, like, I wish Luke watched Star Wars when he was very young, and then he watched it, he loved it. And then he got to a point where I think once he started like realizing some of the things, he was getting like a little scared of it. So we kind of like dialed it back a little bit. But he has always known, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that his name is Luke, but he's always known that like Vader is Luke's father. He's never like there was never a moment where that realization happened for him, and I wish that there was, because that's like such a fun thing to witness. I've like people like post videos of their kids all the time being like, what? That's his dad? And like having
Yeah.
this like moment where they're just like shocked. So I think that you should have that with Bash
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
maybe we'll stick on episode 4 for like
Yeah,
2 years, and then we'll
yeah,
move on to Empire like when he's 6, and then
yeah.
Return of the
Empire will do
Jedi.
it. Yeah, Empire is
Oh,
when the
I
reveal will
like that
happen.
idea.
Yeah,
Because that's how
and
it used to be, you know? You used to watch a Star Wars movie and you'd watch
yeah.
that one for 2 years until the next
Well,
one
that's
would come
because when
out.
we were kids, we were waiting for those prequels to come out. So
Hmm.
you were like pretty young though.
I went to the movie theater for Phantom Menace, I think. What was
Did
that,
you?
2001 or
Yeah,
99? Was it 99?
it
I can't
was.
remember.
We just celebrated, I think, 25 years of it in 2024, so it would have been 99. Yeah,
Okay, so I was 4. So I think I saw Phantom Menace in theaters when I was 4. Which, because it was a cultural, like, it was a
yeah.
huge thing. Like, it
Oh
was
heck
like,
yeah,
this is the biggest thing ever. So I
yeah.
could see why my dad was like, my dad honestly probably wanted to go see it. And my mom was like, hey, you're taking the kids. He's like, okay, fine. Come on.
I was 8 years old, and it was like that is prime. Like this is the coolest thing ever. And then
Yeah.
the movie's always released in the month of May, and that's like when my birthday is. So we had for episode 2, we had my birthday party, and my brother's birthday is 6 days after mine. We're a year and 6 days apart, and so we always had shared birthday parties. And our birthday for we for that year, the episode 2 came out. We had an IMAX theater close to us. We grew up in the Tampa area, so we went to. It's for those who also grew up in Tampa. It's called MOSI. It's the Museum of Science and Industry. And when I say IMAX, I don't mean like the modern IMAX theaters where it's just like a massive screen and a lot of sound. I mean like the like
Film. Oh, the
no
dome.
like dome. Yeah, like a
Wait, you
dome.
had one of those too?
Yeah, growing up.
Oh, I thought I was the only one. Fort Worth
No,
Museum of Science and History has one, and I thought it was like a one of a kind thing.
no,
Now I've
no.
been lied to.
Tampa, the Museum of Science and Industry in Tampa has one, and so they did a special showing of episode 2 in that theater, and so we like had our birthday party in there, and I'll never forget like the scene in Geonosis when like the all of like the droids are battling the Jedi, being sitting in that theater and having this like dome screen in front of you for that scene was one of the highlights of my childhood. It was absolutely incredible. But anyways, so yeah,
I'm just sad that I thought the
you thought it was
Omni
special.
Theater in Fort Worth was the most special thing ever. No,
No, sorry, we have it in Tampa.
dang.
That's what you sent me a picture of Bash in there. That's
Well, yeah, they just redid it. We'll talk about this maybe one day. We'll cover it with an episode. But Cosm, like came in. It's the people who did the Sphere in Las Vegas came in. They did a venue in Grandscape in Frisco, which is like a sporting event one, and then they redid the Dome Theater at the Fort Worth Museum to be all LEDs. So it was projection. It was back projection with like true IMAX, like the film reels that were like 5 foot in diameter. And now it's all digital, full LEDs, and it looks really, really good. Yeah, and they need to put something like Cosm or like that theater in a place like Universal or Disney is going to pick it up. One of them is going to do it,
Epcot should
and
have something like that.
yeah, one of them's going to do it, and someone needs to do it first. And whoever does it first, it's going to be a hit. So
Actually, they
it's
should
cool.
put something like that at Disney Springs.
Well, they need to put it where I have a whole pitch, but they need to put it
Talk
where
about that later.
Disney Quest and the NBA experience was. They need to
Yeah, yeah,
put it in
I
that
agree.
building.
Yeah,
And it's
I
a
agree.
ticketed event. You can watch shows. It's a huge dome thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that'd be sick. Okay, so
news.
yeah, and also I want to say this. Obviously, Tim, if you listen to that tracks, Tim and I had a lot of fun ways to like introduce these segments. Basically, what we just did with you and talking about Bash was almost like what High Dad Soup used to be like. I want to come up with like some fun new names for these things, as well as the news. We're just working on it. I feel like they just organically have to happen. I don't
Yeah.
think that they have to be like forced.
Like Howdy Partner. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It just happens.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned. We'll come up with a fun way to like intro these segments, but there is some theme park news that I want to jump into. So we can do that really quickly. Some highlights. We will start with some of the biggest news, which a lot of people are celebrating, and that is It's Tough to Be a Bug will permanently close on March 17th, which means that the last day to experience it will be March 16th. That always gets so confusing. They always say it's going to close on this day, and you think, okay, cool, so I can go visit it on March 17th. No, that means that
It's
it
going
will
to
be
be
closed
gone.
that day, right? You have to go the day before. And obviously, this is making way for Zootopia, Better Zoogether. So I'm
Better
excited.
together. That are we
I'm
trying a
excited.
little too hard on the name? I
I
mean,
don't think so. I'm here for it. I'm pumped. Disney released like a cool clip of it's interesting because it sounds like Judy Hopps is going to be singing in this show, which is fascinating because in Zootopia she doesn't really sing. There's good music in Zootopia, but like it's not the character
Gazelle.
singing. It's not really it's not really a musical. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see for sure. And I don't think a lot of people are like super sad that It's Tough to Be a Bug is going away.
Well, I
I
think
mean, then
it's tough to be a bug, and It's a Bug's Life traumatized an entire generation of kids into being afraid of grasshoppers and just bugs in general. Which it got me. If it got y'all, then maybe it's just me. I don't know.
listen, I
Maybe it's
love the
just me.
movie. It's Tough to Be a Bug. Great movie. Heimlich is 10 out of 10 character, um, but the attraction is definitely traumatizing for children. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just in your personal space. Like, can we just let's
don't
dial
touch
it
me
back a
there.
little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah, don't touch me. Is that too much to ask going on in an attraction? Just don't touch me, please. That and the Stitch like tickling the back of your legs, like
yeah.
it was too much. It was too much for me. I'm not a
Well,
4D theater kind of guy.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't. I would imagine that maybe the new show will be 4D to some capacity, but I don't
Yeah.
think it'll be. I don't think it'll be scary. Like It's Tough to Be a Bug. That's not the vibe for Zootopia. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It'll be fun to see what they do with it. That's supposed to open in winter of 2025. So this winter. So
Wow.
stay tuned.
You think they're
Couple.
gonna? I bet they're gonna strip a lot of the show elements and go. You think they're gonna go like 80% screen and like take away a lot of like the this? You think the spiders are gonna stay? Let's just throw that in there.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe.
But I think they'll add elements like that for sure. And
Yeah.
I feel like it can only get better with like the new technology that we have. I mean, was It's Tough to Be a Bug? Was that an opening day attraction? I don't think so.
I think that was a trick question that I've done on an episode of Happiest
Uh,
Podcast. But let me see, animal. Keep going. I'll
I want
verify.
to say that it probably wasn't, but anyways, I'm excited. It'll be fun to see this change and see what they do with that space. Um, a couple other while Hunter looks that up, a couple other rapid fire news updates, and these are all coming from Disneyland. Droid Depot and Disneyland will no longer offer reservations starting March 17th. You'll just be able to walk up, which is nice. You don't have to worry about a reservation. No changes yet coming for Walt Disney World. Pixar Putt, which is something that we both got to experience at D23 while we were out there at Disneyland. That is coming to the Pixar Place Hotel from February 7th to June 1st. It's really fun. It's a cool little like putt putt. It's all like Pixar themed. I think that'll be a nice add to the Pixar Place Hotel for sure. I know.
Looks like it was an opening day attraction.
Oh, it
Just
was.
throwing that in there.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing,
It
I
makes
might.
sense. Like Animal Kingdom
I mean, it was
opened.
kind of right there, so
Yeah,
it's
right around the time that A Bug's Life would have been popular.
yeah.
So, but yeah, Hunter, you enjoyed the Pixar Putt exhibit at D23, right?
It it was fun to look at. The playability of the course. I have my own gripes. I mean, the greens weren't rolling as true as I usually like them. I play golf,
Yeah,
just so people
he's a
know.
huge golfer for sure.
I
Yeah,
I play golf. I'm actually getting to play golf this weekend, so I'm happy
Nice.
about that.
Nice.
But yeah, it's you can tell it's like a temporary putt putt because like it's on a wooden platform, so it's hollow underneath, so it just gives you that vibe. And I didn't play very well. I lost, so I'm jaded from D23. But they're cool. Yeah, the holes are cool. The way they have them all designed.
yeah.
They should do a permanent putt putt, Pixar
I'm
putt.
interested to see where it is. I'm going to be out at Disneyland actually for work coming up at the end of the month, and so I'm excited. I'll probably walk over to the Pixar Place Hotel just to kind of see what this looks like and see what the vibes are like. So looking forward to that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this was something very specific at Disneyland. Not a huge like groundbreaking breaking news, but I for those who have been to Disneyland can also probably relate to the fact that I think this is a really good move for them. And I know Hunter and I experienced this on our trip when we went last May. But the Cozy Cone Motel has a new ordering counter, so it has mobile order and also like a queue. But you go to this ordering counter and you order food or treats from any of the cone like locations. Like there's one place to order now as opposed to ordering at each specific cone. And then you'll be directed to go pick up your food or treats from the cones. So I think that is brilliant because when we went in May,
Cozy Cone struggles with
yeah, well the line
mobile
situation,
order was longer, yeah, and
yeah,
then mobile order was about 10 times as long as the walk up. And I think we even went to like the walk up and it's like, can I just get mine here? And they're like, nope, go to the mobile order. Just
yeah,
stand
yeah.
there. I'm like,
It
oh,
got really complicated and the line was wild. So I'm all about this minor little change. I think will be super efficient for the park
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And then the last quick note, and this is exciting, and I'm sure you guys have heard this or seen this, but the Cannons are working on Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland, and I can only hope that we will get that at Walt Disney World soon as well. So whatever budget they were able to grab at Disneyland, I hope that they make that budget exist at Walt Disney World as well, because it's such a cool element of Rise of the Resistance when those cannons are firing. So
Yeah. I wonder,
stay tuned.
yeah, we almost had Yeti 2.0, but
Yeah,
see a new life.
Disneyland fixed it. Yeah, so we'll
It's
see.
been a
We'll see.
while since I've ridden Rise of the Resistance with everything working, be
Yeah,
honest, but
same here, and so that's definitely on my
had,
to-do
yeah,
list when I go at the end of the month for sure. So
I had B mode Kylo Ren in a spaceship last
yeah,
time. So
which is
sad.
honestly not a bad B mode, but
It's okay.
it's nice. It's nice to see that animatronic for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
like my Wicked Witch of the West, Kylo Ren, a little bit more than the.
Unconfirmed Wicked Witch of the West.
It's definitely confirmed.
It's
That's her, buddy.
never officially been confirmed.
Yeah,
And then Walt Disney World,
90%.
whatever. Walt Disney World news, really quick. Jelly Rolls is going to be closing at Boardwalk this spring, and it's been confirmed that they're going to open a new location that will not be on Walt Disney World property. So that's the only information that we have. They posted on their social media that they would be closing and that they wanted everybody to come celebrate like with them this spring. And then actually Scott Gustin, who I follow on X, and he's just like an incredible like news source for all like theme parks in general. But he reached out to them and confirmed that they would be moving off Walt Disney World property. So that's interesting to me. I didn't even know that Jelly Rolls was like its own entity. Like I didn't know that was. I thought that was something that Disney
Not a
owned, I
Disney.
guess.
What
Yeah,
about Dance Hall? Is Dance Hall its own, or is that Disney
I don't
operated?
know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been into either location, so like it
Really?
doesn't. Yeah, not really my vibe.
Jelly
So
Rolls, I'd understand because they have a cover and you got to pay to get in the door. But Dance
yeah,
Hall, you can just walk right in.
yeah,
Uh,
never felt the need. Francie and I stayed at Boardwalk a couple of years ago for Valentine's Day, and we sat outside of Dance Hall. It was like maybe like 11 p.m. and we looked at each other and we were like, "Should we go in there?" And we were like, "No." Like it sounded so loud, and we were just like sitting on the bench chilling, and it was like our weekend away from the kids. We were like, "Definitely not." So we were like, "Heck no." So it was, yeah, we're just we were looking forward to a quiet evening and listening to how loud it was inside. But I mean, it sounds like it's a fun time, fun vibe.
I'll tell you. I mean, I'll tell you. My perspective, it's not because I don't like to dance. I go in and I'm like, oh, cool, and I just kind of hang out. I'm
Yeah. Francie
not
and
a
I
social
enjoyed dancing,
dancer.
so we would have had fun for sure inside of there. But I don't know, it was loud. Maybe that's why I enjoy like silent disco parties so much more because like it's not loud at all. It's just chill. So
The silent
um,
disco party on the Treasure was a strange
I
time.
loved it. I was having the time of my life.
Again, I'm not a dancer.
You
I
were
am very
dancing with
much.
them. You were grooving in the corner.
I was just trying not to be awkward.
It was a
I
great
was
time. I love
just doing the fist pump. All right, yeah. Oh, we're switching over to green. All right, let's go green. All right, let's go.
it's a good time. It's a good time. But yeah, that's the only news that I have for this week. But stay tuned. We'll have more stuff in the future. Now
Yeah.
it is time. Take it away, Hunter. We get time to get into the bread and
Well,
butter of the episode.
I mean, yeah, it's not like a full on presentation by any means. This is a discussion topic
I will
of what
say
makes a theme park a theme park. Yeah, yes.
here's a window into a Nick and Hunter, a typical Nick and Hunter moment for you. I had our theme for this week's episode planned out. I had my
Which
notes
we'll
ready.
still do. We'll
I had my
still
notes
do
ready
it
to go.
next week.
I was so pumped. I was prepared. I was ready. And then I get a text like late afternoon today. What if we do this?
It was mid or to early afternoon, mind
Whatever.
you.
It was not. It was in
And
the afternoon.
I was looking ahead in my mind, thinking, okay, I don't necessarily feel prepared for that, so let's just change the whole idea.
Which you didn't. You weren't prepared.
I
for
asked
the
you
new
what you
idea
thot of it.
either.
You told me. You
didn't-
told me
you
I
were
should
not-
ask you what you think of it instead of just telling you what we're doing. So
You were
I
also
asked
not totally prepared for the new idea either, and then it turned into
No,
okay.
but
well, I'll make.
but that's
some
just in
notes.
my mind. Yeah, that's just in my mind.
Anyway, stay tuned
Listen.
for next week. Nick's idea gets to run the table. I'm not going to spoil it, but
And
that's
you're
what it
gonna intro the episode, so that's the way. You'll always know whose idea the episode was of who talks first on an episode. So if you don't like it, blame me this week. I'll take it. It's fine.
No, I think it's good. I think it's a common conversation for sure.
Yeah,
and when you introduced it to me, I was like, I got to like go in and do some research for it, and I think we got some cool notes. So let's jump into them.
I just think it's important if we're going to name ourselves the theme park guys that we have a clear definition of what a theme park is, because I didn't know this. I did not register until this moment of, you got amusement park, carnivals, you got water parks, you got all kinds of stuff. But what makes it a theme park? So it's that question of, are all theme parks amusement parks? Are all amusement parks theme parks, and so on? I don't know. It's not that simple. Huh?
I think there's a difference. And
You think there's a difference? So let's just start with the baseline of an amusement park having attractions and structures, for entertainment and amusement. Theme park, those attractions and structures follow a cohesive idea. Think lands in Disney, Diagon Alley and Universal. We all know the top theme parks. You like that? I pulled out the Diagon Alley.
Yeah, proud of you.
Where you can get a butterbeer. I don't like butterbeer.
You've never seen Harry Potter, so
I haven't. That's another fun fact.
roast him.
There's just so much we could talk about that
there
would
is.
be so tangential
would
to our
be-
actual conversation that we just
that
go
would
on
be
forever.
Such an like, if I could spend the day with you watching all
Harry Potters.
of the Harry Potter movies, ideal situation.
I'd probably be very critical of them, honestly. You probably would. It would be that thing where you'd like be looking and smiling. You're like, here it comes, and I'd
No,
see it. And I'm
I
like,
know you.
why
I
the
know
heck
you
did they
well.
do that? Why didn't they just do this? This is
I know
dumb.
you no, I know you well enough to be like, okay, whatever. But they get better. Like, I don't know, mixed opinions, but they get darker as the movies go on for sure. And because they get darker, they get more intense. But anyways,
I
yeah,
did
so-
see an explanation once, and here's something interesting. Yes, I have not seen any Harry Potter movie from start to finish. I have seen snips or little bits. I've seen Fantastic Beasts, so I have some exposure to the Wizarding World, as they say.
You're ready for Epic Universe then.
Yeah, I can.
That's because
I
you
know-
like the lead actor.
I know Newt Scamander.
Yeah.
Like,
what's
I
the
can
actor's
carry
name?
my briefcase. Dude, I forgot.
No, you like
I
him.
don't know.
'Cause he's in, oh man, he's in the
He's
musical.
in that.
The
Oh,
musical that you made me watch.
Les Mis?
Yeah. He's in both. What's his name? You know it.
Oh gosh,
I'll look it up. Keep going. Talk about theme parks.
I know his name, but it's escaping me because now I'm nervous because I haven't watched Harry Potter and all this stuff. But as I was saying, I haven't seen Harry Potter, but I did play the game. I even forgot the name of the game. The most recent Harry Potter game that came out where you're in Hogwarts and you're progressing your character, doing all that kind of stuff. I did that, and that was kind of my first exposure to Hogwarts and the way things work. And I don't know. My main question I came out of was, why does it take so long to learn Avada Kedavra, and why can't I just use it whenever I want? That was kind of the main, like, if you know how to do it, why not cast it? You know, it's unforgivable, but who cares if you don't care about being forgiven? Like, just go for it and rule the world. Avada Kedavra, everybody.
Which is why you're definitely not a Hufflepuff. Anyways, Eddie.
I was a Hufflepuff, actually, because that's in the game. It
I don't
sorted
buy
me
it.
to Hufflepuff because of my loyalty, my traits
buy
and
it.
loyalty.
I don't
I'm a
buy it.
loyal friend. A loyal Hufflepuff I am. I'm a good Hufflepuff.
Yeah, okay. Anyways.
Where were
Redmayne.
we?
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so theme parks.
Theme parks.
Diagon Alley.
What's a theme park? Diagon Alley is a theme park, you know?
Oh, no.
Heavily themed. It's a part of a theme park.
Correct.
Heavily themed, cohesive ideas. I like to think it's like if you're looking down at the concrete or the floor and whatever you're standing on, and that matches the walls, like, you know, you're in a place that's been thought about a little bit. Disney, Universal, I mean, Silver Dollar City is pretty themed. It's a Western town, like that kind of stuff. Six Flags start to get onto the border. They do have elements of Six Flags, especially Six Flags Over Texas, that are like Western towns, stuff like that. But the entire park as a whole does have some amusement park features. So amusement parks, think roller coasters with just exposed tracks, supports, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
where do we draw the line? We need an agreement. If we're going to do this podcast, we're the theme park guys. So are we only going to go to a theme park? And if something is an amusement park, are we blacklisting that? We ain't talking about it? Are we
No,
talking
I don't
about
think so.
everything?
I'm fine with going to amusement parks, but I think you have, like, before you draw the line, I think you have to go back to where theme parks are
Oh,
said to
yes.
have sort of begun.
Yes,
And
the notes, the show notes, yes. Let's follow the show notes and stop with the tangents.
no, it's fine. But
Please
I
get us
think,
back
like,
on track.
Disney. That's what I do. Disneyland was one of the first examples of like a true theme park. Like Walt Disney envisioned this park that was built of different lands, and all of the attractions were cohesive to those lands. So you've got Fantasyland, you've got Adventureland, Frontierland, Tomorrowland. All of those things worked together to make up what is the Magic Kingdom of Disneyland. But within those lands, you had attractions that fit that theming for sure.
Yeah.
And it's still like it was immersive and there was a lot of storytelling going on for sure. But I think that only continued to develop. And they used that model for Disneyland, obviously, then to build Magic Kingdom. And then they built upon that with Epcot. And then eventually we've got DCA. We got Animal Kingdom. Or Hollywood Studios before Animal Kingdom. But, like, you know, you continue to expand and they continue to develop these ideas of, like, what a theme park could be and what it can be. But continue to, I think, draw more and more separation from what a theme park is and what an amusement park was. Because before Disneyland, while there probably were some amusement parks that were themed, they had themed attractions or even like themed areas within those lands before Disneyland. I think Disneyland really put like theme parks on the map. And then other companies use that model to develop their own theme parks, where now you've got small theme parks, you've got Busch Gardens, you've got SeaWorld, but you have big ones as well. And I say small very relatively because Busch Gardens and SeaWorld are pretty solid-sized parks as well. But you've got Universal, you know, obviously jumping into that game and creating their own parks as well. And then even a place like Legoland, to me, is also a theme
It's
park.
themed. Everything's Lego.
Well,
Peppa Pig.
I've never been to Peppa Pig, so I
This is
can't
the
tell ya. But it is-
let me mark this moment in history. This is the longest we've ever gone on an episode before mentioning Peppa Pig. So we went almost an hour
two.
before mentioning
Peppa Pig, though, is called Peppa Pig Theme Park, so I'd say.
Well, are they just trying too hard? Are they
No,
trying to say we want to avoid being called an amusement park, so let's just put it in the name?
I think it works because the entire park is themed around Peppa Pig. So,
All right.
anyways,
I'll find
Disney.
out March 1st when it opens.
I
But
need to
go
go.
on.
I need
Sorry.
to go to the one here in Florida. But what's cool is that sort of like it's cool because obviously then Universal gets into the game and they build Universal Studios Florida. You've got Universal Hollywood Studios Hollywood as well, and you've got Islands of Adventure here in Florida that opened in the '90s. Islands of Adventure was the park that took these like thematic lands and upped the ante and upped the game so much more when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade opened in 2010, which is also wild that that's going to be celebrating its 15-year anniversary this year. It's wild that it's
Oh.
been open for that long. But that was so you've got Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, right? You've got Fantasyland. It's whimsical. There's like the carousel. There's, attractions that fit that sort of like fantasy
Everything has a
theme.
story. I think that's a
Correct.
very important thing. It's like even Dino Land and Animal Kingdom, RIP, had a story. It had
Correct.
Chester and Hester came in to try to make a buck off of the Dino Institute to
Sure.
discredit their deal because they didn't agree with each other and they had a feud. If
But
you want to
Dinoland
learn
was
more,
taking
ask me later. That's it.
that theming even more so than like what Fantasyland or Tomorrowland or
Well,
Adventureland
yeah,
is.
yeah.
There's not
Dinoland
like
had more theming than Fantasyland. Did we just say that? All right.
yeah. It,
I'm down
I'm,
for that.
no, it did. Like Dinoland had a story behind it.
But
But
yeah,
I think what the Wizarding World did was take like a
single
specific
property.
IP,
Yeah.
yeah, and then completely take over a land. And every component of that land pointing towards that IP or towards that theming. Like so, Dinoland did do that, yes, but like cast members in Dinoland, they didn't act like they were a part of the Dino Institute, or
They
like
did. They for sure did.
some of them maybe, but not all throughout the land.
Restaurantosaurus was the mess hall or whatever
Well,
for
and
all the
like,
Dino Institute people.
why
It was
would
where
you
they hung
have
out.
a carnival right next to Dino
Do you want to know
Institute?
why? Because there's a really good explanation I'd
Okay,
love
go
to
ahead.
share with you. Okay, so I'm gonna get portions of this wrong, but I'm gonna be
we can't ramble for too long about Dino because
listen.
it's
I'm gonna
gone.
I'm gonna get portions of this wrong, but it's gonna be at least 65% right. So Dinoland has two separate areas. Has the Dino Institute, Restaurantosaurus, the dig site. Is that Dino Dig? What was that called? The Boneyard. The Boneyard. And then it has Chester and Hester's area, kind of the sideshow area, right? So the Dino Institute came to town, started making a buck. It was controversial. Okay, people didn't want the Dino Institute there, so Chester and Hester devised a plan to benefit off of this unfortunate situation and establish their little carnival sideshow that as you exit the Dino Institute, you're going straight into it. And it's basically like, it's a tourist trap is what it is what is designed to be. People would come for the Dino Institute and then they make a buck off Chester and Hester's little palace in there with the carnival games, all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like, yeah, those are those serious dino guys in town. Come play carnival dinosaur games. Oh, this is the dino area. So they had their little feud going. Restaurantosaurus is its own thing. It was like I don't think it was necessarily the dorms, but it was like, it might have been where like all of the Dino Institute like students and everything lived. That's where like on all the walls it has all the memorabilia and like
Yeah.
pranks they've pulled on each other, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all cohesive. People are like, Dinoland is terrible. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
It makes sense.
I don't think
it's
that
just
people think it's terrible. I think it's
it's
great.
it's from the
The
mind
details
of Joe
inside of-
Rohde. It's
yeah,
it's
the details
still
in Dinoland were absolutely incredible, but it still was not. It was not as immersive as the Wizarding World of Harry Potter for sure.
but
Like,
it technically was. It's just it didn't click the same.
yeah, it was not as immersive. You
I'm
couldn't
just
take
saying.
your wand and like,
Yeah.
it wasn't interactive. The land itself was not interactive.
Well, of course it wasn't interactive, but yeah, yeah, I agree. But
Anyways.
thinking about it, and like you're thinking of like Disneyland. So Disneyland had Adventureland, Frontierland, Tomorrowland, those kind of things. It had lands that were themed around individual attractions with even heavier theming. So it was kind of like like especially Fantasyland with all the different movies, like all
Right.
put in that one spot. You go into one, you're in one world, but then you go into
Right.
the next attraction, you're in another world. So
Correct.
it's not as cohesive. Whereas, yeah, Hogsmeade, first one where it is maybe Hogsmeade technically the first theme park, true theme park,
No, I wouldn't. I would say
where
that the other ones.
everything is part of the story.
No, because it's still a part of Islands of Adventure. But I think
Yeah, yeah, true, true.
it elevated and escalated what you could do inside of a theme park with a specific land for sure. And then
And
Disney had
it
to
started the great IP wars. Yeah, now
sure.
we get a new land and it's an IP, pretty
Yeah,
much.
but which is what people want clearly. Like that's what they're paying to go do. So
Well, it's what people are buying it. But I mean, it'd be cool if we had an original idea. Which Epic Universe, like I think, like honestly, like the Monsters Land. That's kind of like one of those, like it's not all one. It's more like a universe of all this stuff, and they're designing a world in which that exists. How to Train Your Dragon, obviously. What is the place called in How to Train Your Dragon? I forgot.
Isle of Berk. Everything is
Isle of
pretty
Berk,
much
yeah.
IP inside of Epic Universe except for Celestial Park, which is like the area that you walk into.
Yeah.
But that does have attractions inside of it, so there is some like original concepts.
So Celestial Park is the amusement park, whereas the theme park surrounds
No, because it's its own
Celestial Park.
it's its own land. So there's a theming to it.
I'm
So I
just
would
I'm
say that-
probing questions here. We're having a debate.
I would
My
say
mom
I would-
always said I needed to be a lawyer when I was growing up as a
Yeah,
kid. So you're about to get a lot.
being your best friend, I can attest to your mom in that situation.
Oh dear.
Yeah, well aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I anyway, so Disney responds. They develop Cars Land. They develop Toy Story Land and Pandora. So Cars Land opens in June of 2012. Cars Land is incredible. If you've never been to DCA and done Cars Land, it is so good. Pandora opens in May of 2017, and Toy Story Land opens in June of 2018. I forget how close those two open together. Like, I feel like Pandora is so much older than Toy Story Land is, but it's also wild to me that Toy Story Land is going to be 7 years old. I think it's because we lost time in 2020, and so like it feels so much like so long ago, but it really
Yeah.
wasn't. Like I went in the opening week of Toy Story Land with Luke, so that's wild to think about. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyway, so and then
Galaxy's
like
Edge comes along.
yeah, and they elevate that storytelling so much more. And there's obviously a lot of conversation about like, did they take it too far with storytelling? Because now they're telling a story that none of
don't
us
know.
have ever experienced before. Yeah, so there's questions about whether that's the case for Galaxy's Edge or not. But anyways, all of that to say, I think the theming, the thematic lands that exist within inside of theme parks makes the theme park what it is.
Yeah. I don't think you have to be Galaxy's Edge to be considered a theme park.
Correct.
I think, yeah. It can
No,
be
I mean,
less than that. It can be.
Legoland here in Florida they have themed lands. They have a specific. They're not called lands, but they have specific areas of the park that are themed towards different types of Legos or Lego set.
Yeah.
They've got a dinosaur theme. They've got.
But technically, Lego is the theme. It literally, I would say by definition, that is a theme park.
correct.
Legos.
Yeah, correct. And even
And
Busch
how you
Gardens.
use it's different, yeah.
Yeah, Busch Gardens, Tampa has on their website they list themselves as a theme park. But yeah, within Busch Gardens, you have different lands. You've got like areas of the park that are themed towards different things, and the attractions in those areas are also themed to that specific area of the park as well. Like Montu is sort of like the area around Montu is very like Egyptian looking, and so yeah, I mean I think like a lot of the smaller theme parks also do a good job of like theming their lands as well.
Yeah.
But I've never been to Six Flags, and there's a lot of debate whether Six Flags is amusement park or theme park.
That's what I was pulling up. I was pulling up the Six Flags park map because I was like, I do remember. I mean, Six Flags has Texas, like a little Texas town,
Right.
And it has the whole Batman, Mr. Freeze kind of thing going on over there.
One of the
which
articles
also
that
has carnival games within.
I found
that
an
area.
article, and it's from Trip Savvy. So if anybody wants to like look this up and you're interested in this as well, you can dig in a little bit more. But it literally has like it talks about what a theme park is and then what a amusement park is, but then it specifically goes into what about Six Flags, and it they basically say that like the Six Flags all are so different, and some Six Flags have good themed lands, whereas other Six Flags don't, or like they have a themed land within the park, but then the rest of the park is not themed. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that's like some gray area for sure,
Yeah.
but yeah. But I would say like amusement parks then are you've got a lot of thrill rides, you've got a lot of attractions, but there's no like theming. Like the ride itself might have a theme, but that theme doesn't like correlate with the attraction sitting
The
next
ride
to it.
next to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
So
some do. You have Batman, then you have Mr. Freeze, then you have the Riddler, Riddler's Revenge or whatever it's called. I mean, Six Flags got some theming. Six
I
Flags
don't
got
I don't
some
know.
theming.
I'll have
Don't
to go
sleep
one
on
day
it.
to Six Flags, but yeah. So I think they use Coney Island as an example of an amusement park because Coney Island was just a bunch of attractions. It's basically like
Yeah.
to me,
Me
it's
and
like a
yeah,
permanent carnival, or a permanent
yeah.
fair.
I was talking to Mel when we recorded our episode for Happiest Podcast, and she brought up like in Jersey, like the boardwalk, and it has all kinds of different like little piers and roller coasters. Like that's amusement park. That is,
Correct.
this is a roller coaster. That's all it is. It's metal, steel. We don't care how it looks. It's just made to make you go up, make you go down, make you scream, and then get off. It's like
Yeah.
that's basically what it is.
I think about
Would
like
you?
the Santa Monica Pier. There's like a bunch of rides on the pier. To me, that's an
Yeah.
amusement park. So
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's stretch it here. Would you say water parks are theme parks?
well, this is a topic of conversation within Orlando because
Really?
Disney constitutes their water parks as water parks. Period. Like they call them water parks. Like you buy a water park
Right.
pass, you get a free
Yeah.
ticket now on your check-in day to a water park. Universal considers Volcano Bay to be a theme park.
But is Volcano Bay themed more than say a Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon? I mean,
I
both of
have
them have a mountain kind of in the middle. One's obviously a little bit bigger than the other, but yeah.
Yeah. I have not, like, I've only stepped into Volcano Bay for a work event, and it was after hours, and so I didn't
Yeah.
get, like, the real Volcano Bay experience. I've been inside of it, and I've seen the theming. The theming to me is very similar to what the water parks are over at Disney.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like Typhoon Lagoon is more of a theme park than Disney's trying to even give it credit for because like
Yeah.
all of the rides intertwine. They're named after. There is a story of that place that the entire everything you do or everything you see is themed around that. There's quick service restaurants with stuff that ties into it's there because of this. That's one thing that is just and that and Blizzard Beach also like. And I'm sure, Universal has that as well. But
Yeah.
I just know that some people might draw the line and say, if I can go no shoes, no shirt, it ain't a theme park. So
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't have like I'm very passionate about whether it's a theme park or not. But I would
This is
say
important for us because we are defining what we're going to cover.
Okay. I don't. I think we would cover water parks for sure, and I think that
Yeah.
they're themed well. Yeah, absolutely. So
Maybe theme parks, maybe not.
yeah,
Honestly, I'm fine going to amusement parks too. I'm fine doing all those things. But
yeah.
okay. What about? You don't know anything about this one, so this will be hard. But I'll give some info. What about for those of you who do know, Meow Wolf? I've said this a few times to you in terms of like thinking of an episode and stuff. You haven't even looked this up, have you? You don't know
No, I
anything
looked
about
it
Meow
up.
Wolf.
It looked like a themed like entertainment. Like
So I have a yes. So okay. So it is themed entertainment minus the amusement park,
Yeah, so I would
pretty
say
much.
that's my
Heavy on
opinion.
theming.
I would say
So
that
it's
that's
like,
just themed entertainment. It's like
oh,
walking through
yeah,
like an
yeah.
experience.
It's an exhibit. So what Meow Wolf is there's multiple locations. I'm not sure exactly how many there are in the U.S. I know I've been to Denver. There's one in Texas too. But each one is completely different, and they're themed around some sort of lore or story. And they're basically art installations where artists come in, decorate the world, and it's kind of one of those like everything you see, everything you touch, everything you read, every poster, every book, every prop is part of that world. You know, in one, everything's in a different language. Like literally anything that you can find with your eyes, if you think it's meant to be there or not, like they've themed it to that. So heavy, heavy theming. The real Unreal, I think is the one, and then one in Denver. But like in Denver, like you're walking down a city street, and it is kind of like that little. It's smaller, but it's that Diagon Alley vibe of like the buildings around you are all part of some their own type of construction and all of that. I really liked it.
It
Maybe it's
sounds
themed
cool.
entertainment,
I think
but
to me it sounds like an exhibit, and that's literally what they call it on their website, an exhibition location. So they have
all right.
five. There's Grapevine, Houston, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Vegas, and Denver.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I would say that's more of like
Exhibitions.
an art
Okay.
exhibit, an immersive art exhibit, which
All right.
to me is almost like a museum.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
museums? I like covering museums too. I'm a big
yeah.
museum
There's
guy.
some great museums for sure, and they're immersive and do great job of storytelling. But they're not
So it has
a
to have a
museum.
ride.
I'd say
Is
that
that
there
where we're
should be an
drawing the line?
attraction. Yeah. You've brought up
All right.
Legoland that's close to you. To me,
Oh
that's
yeah, I have a
yeah,
Legoland in a mall.
but it's not.
So
That's not an
it
amusement
has a
park.
ride. Okay,
Sure,
this is
but
where
I would say that,
it's
and this
missing
is
the
how
park.
it's listed on their Instagram, your specific location because I looked this up earlier. It's a discovery center, so it's like a center more than anything. Yeah,
Not much park.
no,
Theme, yes. Attraction, yes. Amusement, yes.
correct.
Park, nah.
Yeah, it's a subset. But then there is an amusement park inside of Mall of America. I have been to Mall of America in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's
But
technically
not a
not in
theme
Minneapolis.
park.
Well, I think now it's all I think it's all now themed to Nickelodeon. So,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe we have an indoor theme park.
Yeah, I think it is. I
I'm
think
trying to
it's
spin the web as much as you can, as much as I can, as if you can't tell in terms of like theming. Yes, no, amusement.
also like
How close can we get? We need a checkbox or something.
there is a Nickelodeon theme park, but it's in New Jersey. The Western Hemisphere's largest indoor theme park is how they list it on their website.
Wow.
It's called Nickelodeon Universe. So there you have it. It's a
You know
bunch
what I
of
think the Eastern
themed
Hemisphere
rides.
might be? I think it might be Ferrari World because a lot of that is indoors.
There
So
you
shout
go.
out to that. Um,
They have Paw Patrol rides, so Bash would absolutely love it.
wow,
Yeah.
he would love that. All right.
But yeah,
Well, okay.
they have a
I
Jimmy
feel slightly
Neutron
more
ride.
confused. I love Jimmy Neutron.
They
I
have
was raised off Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron Atom Smasher, which is a roller coaster. They've got
Very nice.
Paw Patrol Hero Academy. They've got Pup Pup and Away.
This is New Jersey.
They've got
I guess I'm going.
Rugrats Reptar Go Round. You would not be allowed to ride that.
No, I haven't even ridden The Simpsons in Universal to this
Neither have
day.
I. No, neither have
Really?
I. That was
Okay.
that was a common thing between Tim and I. I was in one of his videos and we walked through Simpsons Land once. I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons, and
Me neither.
yeah,
How about that?
He was having me name all of the characters, and I was not doing well. So I know Bart
I know.
and
I know
Homer,
Homer. That's
Yeah.
about it.
but
Couldn't tell you
anyway,
the rest.
my dad's name's Bart, so it fits. But
No.
anyway, I don't know. Are you satisfied with that
See,
conversation?
okay. Did we talk about SeaWorld?
That riveting conversation? Yeah, I would say SeaWorld is a theme park.
It has
The
attractions.
lands
Is
has
it themed
attractions.
or is it just like a zoo-ish kind of thing?
No, it's themed.
All right.
They have like lands
Oh!
that are themed
Oh, no.
within the park.
I was gonna say zoos, but you mentioned attractions, unfortunately. The fun fact about, again, what I have to work with here in North Texas is the Fort Worth Zoo. They did an expansion from back in the day where they added in kind of a savanna where you can feed giraffes, do all kinds of stuff. But the savanna itself, like if you think about it when you're walking through that area, you're like, okay, I'm thinking Animal Kingdom Africa. And it's like, it's kind of like when you walk up to the savanna, it's like where you circle around with the trucks in Kilimanjaro, and you're like, okay, I can see where that came from. All the town that you walk through when getting from the entrance to that savanna is heavily themed like the areas in Africa in Animal Kingdom. It was definitely they definitely took some ideas and tried to implement them. So
That's cool.
theming again high, but it's that ride criteria that's getting me. All right. This is just what my mind thinks about. So like for instance, let me just provide you an example. You don't usually think of these things, obviously. I work in construction and I do drywall and metal framing, and now I walk into buildings and I look at ceilings and tile and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting the way they did that. Now I'm gonna be thinking the same thing about, is this a theme park or entertainment experience or an expo or an amusement park? And I'm gonna get all technical now. I'm excited.
Well, I hope this was a riveting conversation to listen to as well.
Okay, we need our final directive now.
Okay.
As this is our first episode, we need to know where we go from here. We are the theme park guys,
Correct.
but we love all parks and expos. is that
We love
is
themed
that
enter- we
is that
love
our themed
themed
entertainment?
Yeah.
So let's change it. Themed entertainment, guys. Has a nice ring to it.
Someone already called us the Peppa Pig theme park guys, so or the Peppa Pig guys, I think they said.
The theme park guys presented by Peppa Pig. We're gonna add a banner.
We are not presented by them.
All right,
But
all right. The theme park guys will stick for now, but
yeah, I don't
yeah.
think that's changing.
I mean, I was fully prepared to just do a full rebrand after this
The
episode,
themed
but
entertainment
all right.
guys. No.
The amusement park guys, the themed entertainment.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy.
Good. I'm glad.
This has been weighing on me, and I feel like I couldn't go into this in good conscience without, being on the same page with you, and I feel on the same page now.
Good. I'm so glad that you feel unified.
Kind of. Kind of. I'm really excited for what we're going to talk about next week. I was
sure.
excited for this week, but then we
Yeah.
got bumped. I don't know. The producers called, and we're just the hosts. We don't have any say. So we got to do what the producers tell us to do.
Whatever.
Oh
Anyways.
man. What are we going to end it with? Our favorite.
Well, I think it'll be
themed?
fun. I think like last week we ended with a question
Oh.
for everyone to
Oh,
respond
yes.
to. So I think we should just end every episode with a question. So
Okay.
I don't know
Do you
what
have
the
one?
what the question.
Let's just
is.
talk until we find one out. Okay. So last question was our closest. We said closest theme park, but I heard some amusement parks in there. That's why I thought of this episode.
Right.
But
Which
we did it
also,
as
by
the
the way,
as the crow
Hunter-
flies.
Hunter's mom fact checked him, by the way, and his first
Oh yeah.
theme park was not actually Six Flags. It was
No. Disneyland. I mean, that's more. I have more clout now. Disneyland is my first. I bet you wish you could probably say yours first was Disneyland.
I mean,
huh?
it was Magic Kingdom, so I feel good about
Disneyland's better ish. I don't remember a single thing about it, but that was the first one. I went as a baby. Yep.
Anyways.
Disneyland.
No, I think
was
the question
first.
could be, what is your favorite land in any theme park?
Oh, favorite land.
What is yours?
It was Dinoland.
No, it was not.
Dinoland was underappreciated. I'll tell you that. Okay. I do, and I know there's not much to offer, but I do like Asia in Animal Kingdom. I get vibes in there. I like it.
Yeah, I went there the other day to try to go see the baby tiger, but it was too late.
Yeah, yeah.
He
I'm.
doesn't come out in the afternoons. Anyways,
Oh, really? Okay. What was yours? What's yours then?
mine is
Don't say Fantasyland.
no. I
Okay.
love Fantasyland, but
All right. All
um,
right.
I want to say I love Star Wars so much, so I want to say Galaxy's Edge, but I do get lost in connecting to the storyline sometimes. I do wish that with Star Wars we would have had the opportunity to see some of the older movies represented in that land as well. Like I wish that it wasn't so much tied to a timeline. Um,
Hmm.
but I love it. I love Galaxy's Edge. Pixar Pier is one I could spend half the day, the
See, but
whole
I
day.
feel like Pixar Pier is an amusement park.
No, it's themed.
Hmm.
It is.
It's got an
Literally,
Incredibles ride with Toy Story. I mean, I don't know.
the emotional whirlwind, the Jesse's Critter Carousel, you
Yeah, but
have Toy
it
Story
is the
Mania.
closest thing to a Disney
The
amusement park.
attractions might resemble amusement parks, but they're all themed to Pixar.
Uh,
How is it not?
Pixar Pier. This is great. Let's talk about this. Pixar
No,
Pier is an
we're
amusement
ending
park,
this
and that is
episode.
final. Pixar Pier is an amusement park. If you
It's not an amusement
agree,
park. It's inside of a theme park. It is
that's
a
our
land.
question. That's our question. We're not messing around with your favorites. We're saying, everyone, is Pixar Pier a theme park element? It's not a theme park in itself, but is it more theme park or more amusement park? I'm team amusement park. Nick's team theme park. I don't
think
know.
it would be
Plead your
amusement park
case.
if those attractions all were not themed to Pixar. That's like saying Fantasyland is amusement park because all the
So,
attractions are.
so what's the Mickey's Fun Wheel doing in there?
It shouldn't exist.
Oh,
No,
looks
except,
like an average Ferris wheel to
it's not
me.
Mickey's. It's not Mickey's Fun Wheel. Like Mickey may be on the
Whoa.
side of it, sure, but it's like the Pixar. It's called Pixar something.
Are the cars Pixar characters? Is that what it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nah. I don't know. I don't know
Pixar
about that.
Pal Swinging something. That's what it's called.
Pixar Pal Around, or is
Something
that a
like
different thing?
I don't know.
That was
tried
the
to block-
parade.
I blocked that attraction from my memory. I hate that ride so much.
Oh, I
Terrible.
almost lost it on that attraction. Okay, yeah, I'm team whatever the pier is, the nondescript, unthemed
Amusement-
pier
amu-
is an amusement park. Yeah.
false.
All right. What do you think below? Comment.
Comment down below.
Let us know. We had fun commenting, finding out where everybody's
Basically, you
kind
said,
of from.
What's your favorite land? What's your favorite land, Nick?" And then I said it, and you're like, "That's not even a theme park."
I don't think it is. I think that's a great segue into now what we can decide, and the audience will decide your fate. So be prepared. But yeah, no, I liked on the last episode, our first one, that is less than 24 hours old. Well, now more than 24 hours old as of this recording. But seeing like where everybody's from, and there are some Peppa Pig home parkers, North
Yeah.
Richland Hills, Grapevine,
It's
Peppa
cool.
Pig. So
People from all over the place.
shout
Even people
out.
in the UK. Thank you for listening.
Represent. Yeah,
Yeah.
we like knowing where everybody's from. So that is all for us on this episode of the Theme Park Guys. What is a theme park? I think we answered that with no doubt in this episode. So now use that information to answer the question: is Pixar Pier more theme park or more amusement park? Comment below. Let us know, and we'll recap on the next episode. We'll see who wins. We
Gotta
putting a
love-
bet on this?
You gotta love a themed. You gotta love a themed pier.
It's an amusement pier.
I don't
But
understand
anyways.
how. I don't even understand. I don't even
Oh, now
understand
we have the.
how Dino Land is a themed land, but Pixar Pier is not a themed land.
Dino Land has a story. What's the story behind Pixar?
It doesn't have to have a story. What's the story behind
That's the
Adventureland
theme.
or Frontierland or a Fantasyland or Tomorrowland?
There's a ton of story on the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. I mean, there's a whole
Aladdin
thing
Flying
about that.
Carpets has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
Pirates of the
it's
Caribbean has
an
nothing to do with the
expo. It's a
society.
themed expo within Adventureland.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Anyway,
Yeah, Aladdin needs to go. That doesn't match. We need to get that out of here. But yeah, no. If you ask a cast member, that's the glory of Dino Land. If you ask a cast member, it's like, tell me what's going on here. What's going on with Chester and Hester and the Dino Institute? They'll tell you. If you
not
ask,
anymore, they won't.
yeah, I understand. If you asked what's going on at Pixar Pier, they're gonna say, well, I don't know. We just have some Pixar characters around, I guess.
It's not true. Anyways, that's all, folks. See you
Oh, I
next
love
week.
opinions. They're my favorite thing. All right. Bye bye.